Hey there. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alan Black and I'm the Education and Customer Relationship Manager for Allianz. I think, like most people in the country, I've been working at home for the last 6 months or so, and it definitely has its benefits. I used to have a 2-hour commute each way to Dublin by train and by car, but now I have a little stroll out to my back garden, past my rabbits, out to my new office, which is also known as the Shed. Now, we are very proud of our local personal service that we provide for schools. We have 6 representatives based around the country, but although they cannot visit you at the moment, we thought we'd do a little video of frequently asked questions and bring them to you, just in case you're missing them a little bit. So we have Shane Mooney over in the west, we have Mairead Mullins in the northwest, we have Nola Loughlin in the southwest, Martin McKeough in the south, Alan Carroll in the northeast, and Martin Sinnott in the southeast. So what we'll do now is I'm going to ask a question. So Martin, what should a school do if they have a case of COVID-19? Should they contact Allianz?
Alan, thank you for that very topical question. And I suppose the simple answer is that schools do not need to notify Allianz in the event that there's a positive diagnosis of a COVID-19 case in their schools. However, schools are obliged to follow the procedures as outlined in the COVID-19 response plan for schools, which was issued by the Department of Education and Skills. It's important for me to point out also that should a school receive a threat of legal action or a solicitor's letter on any matter, including a COVID-19 related matter, they should contact Allianz as soon as possible for further guidance. On a related matter, and Shane, you might answer this question, if a school is approached by an ancillary member of staff who is over the age of 70 and who wishes to return to work, what should the school do? Over to you, Shane.
Thanks, Martin. Yeah, this is an issue that's been raised by a number of schools with me. And in fact, it just doesn't apply to caretakers. It applies to all staff, including secretaries and cleaners. It is a very sensitive matter, but it is very important that schools follow their own procedures here. People over 70 are in the very high risk category. So if they want to go back to work, they must be referred to Medmark. Medmark will determine whether or not it is safe for them to do so. If Medmark confirm it is not safe, then they must not return to work. In cases where Medmark confirm it is safe to return, a risk assessment must be carried out by your school to determine how they can be accommodated. Mairead, if schools are arranging work experience programs for the transition year students, do they need to take any particular or additional precautions this year?
Shane, thank you very much. In relation to work placements, we would recommend that your school would make the usual checks with the employer that it is indeed a work shadowing arrangement. And in relation to COVID, we would recommend that your school would obtain in writing confirmation from the employer that they have adequate COVID procedures in place. Martin, one for you maybe. Schools this year are struggling for space. What are your opinions on marquees?
Thanks, Mairead. Nice, simple, straightforward one for me. Look, it's very important for Allianz to be clear at the start here that we do not recommend these temporary type structures. By their very nature, these structures are designed to be temporary and are also designed for benign weather conditions. You know, over time, or indeed just over a bad weekend, these structures can become a real danger to the school community. You also have the added headache that they require a lot of maintenance and a lot of regular inspections, and all of that has to be documented as well. So if your school doesn't have one of these structures at the moment, but is considering it, we would strongly advise that the school looks for appropriate alternatives. If your school happens to have one of these structures erected, but you haven't advised Allianz yet, it's really important that you let your local school rep or your insurance intermediary know as soon as possible. That's as clear as we can be on these temporary structures at the moment. I'm going to pass the question on to Noel now and get him to do a bit of work. So with schools now back up and running, more and more third parties are coming to the schools to try rent and use their school facilities. Is this allowed, Noel? What's Allianz's take on it?
Yes, Martin, it is allowed, but there are a number of important things to consider. Firstly, I would say that you or your board shouldn't feel pressured into allowing a group use your property just because they have done so beforehand. Your boards have to be happy that they are comfortable with any such use and that it can be done safely. If your boards decide to let an external group use your property, then a license agreement should be drafted to ensure that both parties understand their rights and responsibilities, particularly around issues such as cleaning and disposal. You should also ensure they have adequate insurance in place and that your school are indemnified under their insurance policy. We have a simple checklist for outside groups on our website, which you may find useful. Alan, what if a school is using another property or obtains a prefab? What should they do?
Well, no, so similar to your situation, if a school are using another property, they should have a formal agreement in place to make sure that both parties clearly understand their rights and responsibilities, particularly at the moment around cleaning and right of access. These properties may also be shared by other users, so it's important that boards of management are confident that child safeguarding policies and procedures can be adhered to at all times within these environments. With regards to prefabs or other similar additional properties, if schools happen to have got prefabs or other additional properties in at the moment, they should contact their local Allianz representative who'd be delighted to assist, or if schools use an insurance intermediary, they should contact their insurance intermediary. Alan Black, I believe you've got some good news with regards to a premium rebate for the time the schools were forced to close.
Hey, back to me again already. Alright, thanks Alan. And yes, there is good news at the end of this frequently asked questions. So look, we have committed to giving a premium rebate. It's going to work out at approximately about 9% of your annual premium, and this is to reflect the fact that your schools were closed unexpectedly due to COVID. So look, thank you for sticking around for the end of our frequently asked questions. I really appreciate it. And if you want to give us any feedback, our email address is education@allianz.ie. Thanks. See you now.